Hey guys, what's up? Eddie Aho here with KissAnalog.com. Oh, yeah, we actually do have another thermal camera. The Mileseey, I don't know how to pronounce that, the TP2. All right. I did a box opening already. See, I opened up the box, pulled out the manual and a quick start guide. All right. So this guy comes with an awesome little case, one of those soft hard cases, so keeps your device protected. Very unusual, very interesting hand grip, okay, kind of device. Has a built-in battery, so it operates on its own battery. And there's 3 lights on right now. It's fully charged, okay. Charges right here on the USB-C port. And this guy has these clips that pull down, rubberized on the ends, and pretty strong spring here. So it'll hold on to your phone, okay? There you go. And the clip's on, like, nice and strong, okay? So, and those rubber things really grip your phone. But you don't have to have this tethered to your phone. That's the beauty of this thing. It hooks by Bluetooth, really quick and easy, nice app. I'm going to show you that app. So we're going to just jump in this video. So it's going to be long anyway, probably. So USB cable it comes with in a pocket, so it fits all nice. And like the manuals, there you go. All right, I got this set up. If you guys seen the other thermal videos I've been doing on this series of thermal camera videos on this little 16th brick. Here's a half brick. A full brick would be twice as long. This is a format, kind of a form factor they came out with years ago, so that, you know, vendors building things that needed power supplies but didn't have a power supply engineer could get a switching power supply in a brick format. Half brick, you know, full brick. Maybe a full brick back in the day might have been 500 watts. Something like this would be 250 watts, or, you know, they've been getting better and better as the years gone on. Maybe originated that full brick was for 200 watts. This was 100 watts. So, and I think that's actually kind of true because this is 100 watts. So, this little 16th brick, well, you can put 4 of them on there. It's a 16th of a brick. And it does 300 watts. It does it with EPC, efficient power conversion, GaN FETs. So, all right, guys, here's a half brick module. And that guy is a 16th. So 4 of those can fit on top of this guy. That guy is small. Okay. You see a small little GaN FETs over here. See how small they are to my finger? And here's the inductor. So we got inductor, 2 GaN FETs, output, and the outputs are paralleled. So yeah, you can see that these things are very small. Challenge to the thermal camera. Here's the leads go to the power supply. And there's the power supply I'm using. Okay. When I turn it on, it'll put out 38.6 watts. Come back over here, and then we go up here and go to the load, and I got that set for 3 amps. When I turn the power supply on, you'll see the output jumps up to 11.78, 11.8. Little voltage drop across these leads, because it should be 12 volts down here. 300 watts capable. I'm going to do a video on that module. There you go, guys. I'm going to come over and show you the setup real quick, and then we're going to do some testing so you can see how this thing stands up. 256 by 192 resolution. That's like all the best thermal cameras I've been seeing lately. I mean, we're talking non-brand names, you know, not the big FLIR brand name. They're 256 by 192s. I don't know, what are they? Couple grand, 2 or 3 grand? Let me know. They're really expensive. This is 25 hertz, so the frame rate's pretty fast. Some of the slower frame rates on some of the cheaper cameras, or I shouldn't say cheaper. Some of the cameras don't perform as well. 8 frames per second, so 25 hertz. Okay. So the other thing, this will we're going to see how close it can focus. That's the whole idea. This is very challenging to see those little small parts. And can we actually get the resolution to see them? So the big difference between some of these cameras is the lens, just like with regular cameras. So once digital cameras came out, they had the sensor in the back that picked up the image. The big thing is the lenses in the front, right? Well, that's what we're starting to see with these. That 256 by 192 sensor is a great sensor. So how good are the lenses for close-up work like this? So that's what this video is about, kind of what this series has been about, where I've been showing all these thermal cameras, because they all do great, like a foot, 2, 3, say a meter and far away. They do great. The 256 by 192s, they're probably all going to compare close in those ranges, okay? Once you get, like, say, electrical panel, you're doing solar panels, and you want to make sure your connections are all good. You don't want a hot connection. That'll show that you got a problem. So, yeah, there you go, guys. And by the way, I have this Boya microphone right here. I have one stuck to my power supply right here. They're really small. What do you think? Does it sound good? Because I had an expensive setup that was giving me all kinds of grief, charging batteries and doing all this stuff. I have to charge these, but they hold the charge a long time. How's the sound? Let me know. If you notice the sound difference, hopefully it's better. If it's worse, let me know, because maybe I'll have to figure out that setup again. But, all right, guys, let's come over here to the bench. All right, guys, so my attempt to get the camera, which is right there, and the handle is a little bit higher than the lens, because it goes down, then the lens kind of protrudes down below it. So it's actually about this surface where the lens is. So that's about how high we are off the board, but the board is raised up too. So let's go look at that. But I've got the box, the half brick, and then camera, 200 watt resistor holding it down. All right, so over here, you can see how the surface here drops down, so the camera's a little bit lower, right? The lens. Okay, so it is, if I measure from there, it's about 1¼ inches high off the thing, if you could tell that. Or if you want to use the millimeters, like 17 millimeters, approximately. So anyway, now this yellow thing with the helping hands is just sitting here from a previous video. It's not doing anything. So I guess I could have got that out of the way, but it gives kind of the surface level of the PCB. And then the PCB that we're actually looking at is about 1/8 of an inch higher off of that board. And the inductors, the top of the inductor is probably about 1/2 inch above the top of that board. Okay, guys, I walked you through the setup. Now I want to walk you through the setup of the camera, okay? Okay, so the app, really easy, comes up and it finds the camera real quick. So TP2 plus. So I just say connect to it. And then there we go. But now if I go to this back arrow, I could actually go to the file library, hit the settings, go through English, go through a bunch of stuff like that. But I just connect to the device. All right. And so then that's what we're looking at. So now in the previous video, when I reviewed the ThermoMaster, okay, the ThermoMaster P3, I could get more detail because I could get focus closer. But this one, you can see the 4 FETs off to the right. The 2 yellow things, the 2 big things are the inductors. They get the hottest. And up the scale on the right, you can see 73.3 is the top of the scale, 36 degrees is the bottom of the scale. So one thing you can notice right now, the PCB, the 16th brick module sitting on, you don't see any heat on that. So there's not any heat being transferred from the 16th module into that board. So it's kind of a worst case situation as far as thermal goes. I don't know if that's what they intended when they made this eval board, but you can see around it's dark, it's cold. All right, you see a box, you see a line off to the right next to the scale, and you see a few of those colored points, P3, P1, P2's in the middle of the box. Up at the top of the screen, you see the little thing on the left, the See, I just touched it there, highlighted it. That's a point. I can put a point right up here. Just added one. There's a line. I can add line. Just add line across there. And when you add the point, it just tells you the temperature of that point. When you add a line, it finds a cold and hot spot on that line and puts it where it is. So these are really cool. And then the box, I can add another box. I could put a box or just across the top, rectangle. Same thing, finds a hot, cold spot in that box. Okay, the camera just recalibrates itself, does that every so often. So that scale on the right, it'll readjust that scale. And I'm not sure if it's when it sees a temperature change that it does that. But anyway, so, and then the next thing is a trash can. So I can trash all of those things all at one time if I want. Or I could just tap the screen, okay? And I can tap, like, say one of these things, like, I can tap the line off to the right. See the trash can right above the image? I can tap that, and it says delete, and it deletes that line. And so I can do that individually. I can do that rectangle. Or I can go up the top of the screen and hit that trash can, delete all regions. Yeah, delete them all. So there we go. They're all gone. What's left are those temperature things you see. There's a white crosshair in the middle. And there's a green one off to the left. So that's the cold and hot. Well, actually, the one in the center is just put there because I said put one in the center. So that way I know the center of my, temperature in the center of my image, I guess. And then the red one bounces around. That finds a hot spot. The green one finds a cold one, okay? And those temperatures are in the top left corner. 68 degrees is the center. Max is 73. And 36 degrees is the minimum. Okay, if I come down here at the bottom of the screen and hit that little crosshair in the left side of the menu, then I get white, red, green. So I can turn off the white, turn off the center one if I don't like that. Maybe it's cluttering up my screen. Get rid of the hot one if I don't want it. Get rid of the green one. Because if I'm going to come up here, say grab that box, and I put a box across there, now I just get the temperature of that. Maybe it's less clutter. But maybe I actually like to know where the hot one, where the hot spot is. The coldest one's not a big deal. A lot of times I leave them all on. But if you're going to put a box, a line and stuff, it can get cluttered. Okay? Now, off to the far right, there's this thing called isotherm on. Okay? Now, what is that? That is interesting, right? So, you notice how it changed the picture? So the hottest things, well, here, I'm going to show you. Up here in the top right, the gear, see in the menu here, I have an isotherm. I have a temperature alarm, which we'll just go through these menus. So above temperature, I set this for, let's say, I'm going to set it for 100C. Anytime I see anything over 100C, I want it to let me know. So I'll set that. And then below, I'm going to leave that off for now. And I'll just say, yeah, I'm good. Okay, so now I'm going to go back, and there's an auto power off. Okay, none, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. I don't know. You know what? Let me check. Okay, so I don't know if you can change any of these to, no, it'd be nice to have a custom one, right? So I'm going to say off. Factory reset, battery capacity, and device information. So, in case you're curious, look, there's a check for updates. We're going to do that later. Okay, there we go. Now, see the isotherm? That's what we came here for. So it's on right now, and 65 is the high temperature, and 50 is low temperature. So things within that range are going to show. Things outside that range don't show up. So that's isotherm. So you're isolating the thermals in that range. Maybe I wanted to go anything above 65, then it'd show me that. So maybe we should try that. Okay, so that's where it's set right now, right? Here, let's go up to the isotherm. Let's see if we can do that. Let's say low temperature 60. Anything above 60. That's kind of where, like, you don't like to touch things too long because, you know, you'll get burned after, you know, it's where you pull away after like maybe a second even or less. Okay, so we're going to put this for anything from 60 to 100C. We go back to the picture. Let's turn isotherm off. Now I'm getting that red triangle. I don't know if that means I don't have anything above temperature. I'm not sure if that's just an indication saying we got it turned on. I don't know exactly what that means. Okay, let's go to isotherm. Now I want to go back up here. Oh, it didn't accept my change. So high temperature 100C. Low, I'm going to say 60. Okay, maybe I have to click on okay, settings on. I didn't click settings, I just touched the screen. So now let's go back and see if it changed that. All right, so now all we see that's highlighted is the temperature bar from 74.4, the highest temperature, to somewhere down in the scale, somewhere in the middle. So there's about 40 degrees on this full scale, so it's down around 54 to 74. Okay, so now I can go to this thing on the left and say turn off isotherm. And there comes the colors. Okay, let's go to the rest of the menu. So the next one over is on the far left, it's IR mode. That's where we are. I can go to visible mode. And visible mode is just going to show the camera, which is kind of interesting because, you know, when I first saw this thing, I thought it was using the phone camera as the camera. That's why it attached the way it did, but it doesn't. It has its own camera. And because I'm so close and the parallax there, I'm just seeing, you can kind of see it out of focus kind of on the edge of the board. So I actually have to pull it away about 1/3 of a meter because that's the closest you can get. That's where the parallax there focuses the closest. Okay. Now the thermo, the IR, you can see that I can focus much closer. But anyway, yeah. So, okay, so let's go to the next one, or picture in picture. Okay. So now I'm going to turn off that thermal alarm because maybe that's what's setting that little thing. Oh, see, it's set for 40C. Again, I don't think I hit the setting button. Instead of saying setting, it should just say OK or enter. But because it wasn't obvious to me that I had to hit that, I just touched the screen. Okay, so that warning sign, we would see that it's nice. It showed up because it shows that, hey, you're above 40C. So it gave us a warning. So if something got hot, like usually to me, if things are getting up around 100C, unless I'm expecting it, like I'm testing max temperature, like max power, that, you know, and maybe something's going to get that hot. Otherwise, I hope things don't get that hot. That's too hot. Some people say, well, yeah, but that's rated for 130C. It's like, well, yeah, but I don't want to. When I drive my car, the RPM gauge goes way over there. I don't even know the number. What is that, 10,000 RPMs? I'm usually around 3,000, 3,500 max, right? Back when I use a clutch. Now with an automatic, the automatic makes sure that I'm usually there. Now, sometimes it floors it, right? It comes up, but it goes right back down. That's a transient. It's temporary. So, yeah, so 100C I think is good temperature for that. For me, I'd probably lower that actually. But anyway, so there you go. If you're looking at electrical panels, anything like within a couple feet, you know, a foot away, a couple feet away, you're going to get these things focused on top of each other. So your visual image will be focused on top. But picture in picture, you're going to, wherever your center of your picture is, you're going to see this thermal picture down below centered like that. So that's pretty cool. All right, so now if I click on the right one, this is fusion mode. This is where they fuse the two. Well, this one definitely is where you want the focal point to be on top of each other. So it puts the visual image right on top of the thermal image, okay? these cameras are, resolution is so good. I'm happy with that because I'm looking at the thermal part. I can see the 4 GaN FETs. I can see the 2 power inductors on the left. To the right of each one of those, it has 2 GaN FETs. They're kind of, the temperature, I'm guessing on them, they're only like 45, 50 degrees. And then I see a bunch of little dots and stuff in between them. Those are a bunch of little small components, I guess. They could be vias. The focus isn't good enough on this camera. I don't have that macro lens like I did on that Thermal Master camera. But this is still excellent, right? This is amazing. So, okay, there's the menus. Here, let me walk you through this. Okay, now we're on the box to the second to the far right. That's the one we're on. When I click it, it says it's lava. So that's the lava one. If I click on the farthest right one, what does it say? RD gray. So it's red gray. So that one, yeah, oh, look, the red stuff's hot. The white stuff's cool. The black is cold. Okay. So that's kind of an interesting one. You can see the 4 GaN FETs. Okay, now I'll come over to the next one to the left. That's iron. It's kind of a common one amongst thermal cameras. That's a great one too, right? Now those things in the grid pattern to the top of the image and the bottom, I know those are ceramic capacitors. So I'm thinking because of the size of that all those things in the middle are all the support resistors, capacitors as well. They are small. They're like 04, 02s, or maybe even 02, 01s. I don't know. They're really small. I think there's the big capacitors across top and bottom. They might be 06s, but there's still a lot of small parts on this thing. Okay, next one, rainbow. Rainbow what? HC. Okay, so rainbows I think are fun, but I think that scale, there's so many different colors. Maybe it's actually easier. Actually, I kind of wish on that scale, the 74 to 36, maybe every 10 degrees or every 5 degrees. Maybe it'd be neat if you could turn on the temperature, the thermometer on the right, so that it would give you a different scale. You could set that up. But man, yeah, I'm getting really picky with these apps these days because these apps are awesome. Okay, here's just plain old rainbow. All right, pretty cool. I can see a lot of stuff. I can see what's hot, cold. Okay, we're calibrating. All right, so by the way, the thing over to the right of the little pencil thing that looks like I'm at right now, shutter correction. So I can click on that and that's some kind of calibration for the shutter too. So the image, okay? Okay, so this one's called black hot. Black hot. So black is hot and white is cold. Okay. So not super clear, right? Not super focused. Maybe that's a good one to focus the image on because that one looks like that'd probably be a good one. And this one was white hot. So opposite. White's hot, black's cold. All right. And I kind of liked this lava one. What do you guys think? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of them. Just kind of jumping through them. So, okay, so that's those. Now, the next menu over, I've already shown you, that's the shutter correction. Then the far right one, it's this one. So the one on the left, and emissivity. For PCBs, it's 0.91, okay? So I can adjust that. That's how much, like, refraction or reflection you're going to see from the light off the surface of whatever it is. If it's a shiny surface or if it's a black opaque surface, your emissivity. So atmosphere temperature, 25C, kind of ambient temperature kind of thing. Target distance, right now it's set for 0 meters. The next one I can get, if I go over, is like 0.1. I can't really get 0.0 numbers. And I can go up to 4 meters. After 4 meters, I think everything is essentially in focus. So I want to get 0.1 because pretty soon you're parallel. You're bringing your parallel things, 4 meters, things all look like they're pretty close, right? As the closer you get, you have to kind of do this. You get the parallax where you cross over. So, all right. Well, that gives us a lot of those things. A lot of the menus we've gone over. All right. So now down the bottom, what I should have been doing maybe during this, I'm recording my screen from my phone because I just want to because I wanted to capture all those menus around. But if I just wanted to capture just the thermal picture, which if I hit this camera right now, the movie camera, here, I'm going to do that for just a moment. Okay, we're going to turn it on and we're going to just record a little bit. So yeah, you can record the image like this, but when I'm recording the image, I can't be playing with the menu. So that's why I'm recording my phone. All right, so I can go back to camera and I'll just snap a picture. Okay, so yeah, pretty darn cool, pretty easy app. I mean, the app, the apps on these phones are, I mean, some of the apps on these thermal cameras are pretty excellent, right? I mean, getting picky, saying, oh, I wish I had that, I wish I had that. But man, what they give you is pretty amazing. Hey guys, you watched this far, you got a chance to win this soldering station, okay? Not this one, but one just like it. Toolor, Toolour, they will send one out. They'll pay for shipping. Anybody in the United States or in Canada. I think that includes Alaska and Hawaii, but I got to make sure about that, okay? But anyway, if I have to, I'll check into that. But anyway, that's what they said, US and Canada. So here's how you win it. Leave a comment down below, say you want to win the soldering station, okay? Like the video, of course, and also be a subscriber. You have to be a subscriber. All right. Now, if you're a YouTube member or a Patreon member, then I'll give you an extra chance to win. And if you're second level or third level, I'll give you another chance to win for each one of those levels. So if you're Danny, for instance, he's the only top tier level in YouTube. So if he wanted to win this, I would give him 3 on top of his rich. So he had 4 chances to win. So if only 1 other people has to win, there'd be 5 people and he'd have 4 chances to win. Anyway, not very many people are going to ask for this, okay? It just turns out that way. Every time I give something away, like I might have 3 people asking for a multimeter. So I'll end up sending each one of those people a multimeter, and then the shipping was killing me, so I kind of stopped doing that stuff. But in this case, Toolor is going to ship this out for free to somebody in the United States or Canada. So if you want it, email me. Let's get back to the video. All right, guys. So these little clips come out. You can, they're spring loaded, so you can stretch them. Maybe you want to grab onto something. I don't know. They're meant for your phone, right? So they're meant to put on your phone, right? So when I was going to put on my phone, I didn't want to cover up my lenses because I thought, oh, this is going to cover up that. But I guess this is the thermal camera, and there's the visual camera down there. I didn't know if that was a focus thing, so I didn't realize that was an actual camera. Now, by the way, I'm kind of tethered here, right? I was just charging it. All 3 lights across the front are lit up. They're all charged up. So, yeah, these things tuck away pretty easy, but you just stretch it down, goes on your phone. So if you are checking electrical installations, solar panels, making sure all your connections are not getting hot, because that would show a loose connection. If you're just checking your wiring, making sure everything's good. Thermal cameras can do so much, and you just want to put on your phone so it's just a one thing. You can have the app going, watching it while you're pointing, or if you want to hold it and do this kind of thing, go inside, look underneath, alongside something. So yeah, these little things have a little rubber grip on the edges, and yeah, it just seems like it's super well made, guys. When I first got this, I thought, what a weird camera, like this weird handle. But then after using it and using it to do my solar installation at my buddy's cabin, his solar installation, me, helping him put his in, I realized how cool that was. I mean, it didn't hit me until I started using it. When I pulled it out of the box, I'm like, okay, that's a weird camera. Do I really want to review this? Because I don't like to review things that I think are just weird. There's only been a couple things I've received, which I ended up not reviewing, because what's the point of just saying, hey, this is crap? And some, people like negative things, so maybe I could have got some views on something like that. But it's a waste of time, right? I want to show you guys things that you might find value in. Now, some people say, well, why didn't you tell me which one to buy? And I'm like, well, because I'm not you. I can show you two things, but I can't tell you that that's the thing you should buy. There are some things I have said, guys, buy this. Like back in the day when these multimeters were available on Amazon, I was like, buy them, I mean, these things are amazing meters. And the Southwire meter, I was looking for my Southwire meter. I think I took it to show someone. I've got a couple of them, but I got a couple for sale too. Anyway, there's a few things I'll say, guys, you should just buy these because they're so awesome. But yeah, anyway, back to this. It's really nice that you can actually charge it while you're measuring. Some devices, once you plug in the charging cable, it turns it off, right? But yeah, I was charging this while I was using it, so that's nice. It does have the tripod mount, so that's also a nice feature, because there are some nice, I have these helping hands back here, which are super cool. I'll put the link for these down below. I was going to do a review on these. I think I still will do a quick review just showing you how cool they are. But there's versions of that have like little things where, you can mount a tripod and that way you can have helping hands hold this thing for you. Because one of the cool values of that camera is the fact you don't have to hold it. Even though it has that handle, it makes it easy to move around things. Some of the cameras are so small, the little, I've got one or two of those, right? They're so small that, they're almost too small to move around. And then you have to have a cable on them. But this guy, if I want to see how hot the back of this is getting behind a fan or something, or inside a panel, if I'm building, like when I was building this Class A audio amplifier, I wanted to get down and look at the transistors on the heat sink. And, it's hard to get a camera angle there, but I could drop this down in there. As long as I'm an inch or so away, I could get a good image. Even if it's so blurry, it's okay, right? I mean, if I got too close, it'd be a little blurry. These FETs back here, they're teeny. They're about the size of a 1206 resistor, maybe. 1210 resistor, probably, I'm guessing. They're small. So, very small FETs. The ones on the audio amplifier were much larger. They're class, anyway. So guys, I did that video on that cabin install, and I had this up there with me just to check things out. And it was super cool, super handy that I didn't have to have it tethered to anything. And one of the pistol grip cameras would have been great. That's what a pistol grip's for. This guy is kind of in between a pistol grip and that Thermomaster P3. It gets almost as close as a P3, but it also acts kind of like a pistol grip, So it's and it's small. So it's smaller than pistol grip. So there's a lot of cool features about this camera. It says 3.2 millimeter lens, f1.1, 56 degrees by 42 degrees. So that's what it says on the front of it here. But Mileseey, yeah, very nice camera. And so happy that they sent a case with it. So great that these thermal camera people are sending cases with their devices. So that's easy to put in a briefcase, keep, in your tool bag or whatever. One of those soft, firm cases, hard cases I call them, because they're shaped. nice and firm. They're going to protect your device. So another great thermal camera. That one, non-tethered. It doesn't totally replace that P3 from ThermoMaster. If you really want to see the real small parts, right? Well, and then it doesn't totally replace one of your pistol grips because they have a screen on them. So with this one, you still need your phone for the screen. So it's kind of an in-between. It's kind of a cool tool because here at the bench, I can have my phone and I can just place it somewhere, and then I can pick up the camera and move it around. So, and it's smaller than a pistol grip, so I can get it where a pistol grip might not be able to fit. Yeah, it's just a, when I first, like I said, when I first got this, I thought, wow, that's weird. That's kind of dumb. And then I realized the brilliance of it after using it. I'm like, wow, that was actually, like, whoever thought of that was, and guys, I'll tell you what, these other cameras, like the P3, like the next evolution of that, like if they call it P3 Pro or the P4, the cool thing with that would be to have the Bluetooth working with, well, they'd have to put a battery in it. That's the one downfall, right? Because you have to have a battery in this. So that is a downfall. You have to make sure that thing's charged. So that's another thing to point out, where the P3 is charged by your phone. But it would be cool, I guess if they just made this with the manual ring where you can focus, this might be the end all be all. I mean, Mileseey, put a manual focus on this so we can get macro focus. That could be it. Because the main thing is they all use that 256 by 192 sensor right now, right? Which is amazing. And if they just had it, the difference really is the lens. How close can you physically focus? And as far as that visual lens and the parallax error, if you're getting close enough to focus on stuff, it's going to be difficult to get that, and you don't need it, right? So that's still just fine the way it is, 0.3 meters, 0.1 meters, whatever it is. That's still fine. Just macro. Put a macro focus lens on this. Or like the one camera I have has a magnetic snap-on lens that changes it to a macro lens. That would work too. So yeah, we're getting close to a do-all thermal camera, right? Right now, this one here has been in my briefcase, and I take it to work, and whenever I need a camera, this is what I pull out, just because it's just so flexible and so easy to use, and it's not tethered. All right, guys, 2 big thumbs up to Mileseey for sending this camera out to me. I've had it for a while. I did that one at the cabin. I think I did a short video on it too, and now we did this, and you'll see it in other videos when I'm at the bench doing things. You'll see other thermal cameras like that P3, because I can use the macro lens. And then I have the other one. I've got a couple other versions I'm going to show you guys, okay, that get down to the boards level. So yeah, pretty amazing. They all have their, idiosyncrasies. They're all a little bit different from each other. And it's not that makes them weird or anything, it makes them cool. So there's different features that make some cooler for some people than others. So it's kind of up to you guys which one you like better, right? Okay, 2 big thumbs up to my patrons, my YouTube members. Danny for being a team member. Appreciate you. Hey, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.